Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing one other topic, that is city regression. City regression basically we are discussing one other topic, that is Sunil R. Nair basically is not getting the job. And what are the things basically which is covering in this video is basically. So just see basically up to what level things are going to connect. One of the person told that yeah, this 1 crore people basically died in the previous video basically. That basically really basically it's like that, or basically it's not like that. So the things basically are like that. 1 crore people basically selected from one possibility is like this basically. But possibilities are possibilities. So it can be combination of possibilities also. I will take few possibilities. One possibility. 1 crore family basically taken from India basically from many cities, and they basically shifted to another countries. And these Rohingya Muslims came into India with that same face basically of that particular family and shifted to India. And they basically the 1 crore people basically who basically left the India, they shifted to some other countries like America, Europe, Italy. Like this basically, I'm not telling that the world has started. Like this basically, they shifted to other countries basically, and they basically, as per the water, as per the foods, as per the environment, they basically their body structure, they basically everything basically got connect to the land basically. For example, in America basically, the every people basically are white. That also red white basically you can say, like apple. They look like apple basically. In Africa basically it's totally opposite. They basically look like a black. In China basically totally things are different. So each and every culture, each and every foods, each and every waters basically, and they according to the land, their body structure basically created. So this is one possibility. Another possibility is all 1 crore people basically died. That is another possibility. And Rohingya Muslims taken control in India basically. That one person basically who won basically the 1983 World Cup. Due to that person basically, the Indian government basically, not Indian government basically, BCCI basically is not Indian government. They are basically from Europe, and European group basically are controlling the India. Still basically, because 1 crore people basically how they entered basically. That is also a question na basically. How they entered into India basically, and how the 1 crore people basically died. Without government permission, this is not possible basically. And BCCI is connected with cricket, and cricket is connected with European country. So still basically the European countries are handling the India, and they say that basically this is the way basically we handles, and this way only basically we created the India also. That also they will say basically one day, like this 1 crore shifted or basically killed, or half of the people shifted and half of the people killed, and half of the Rohingya Muslims came into the this area, means entire 1 crore basically shifted, but half people basically died and half basically shifted to another country with the same face basically. And in India basically they changed that face basically. So you can just imagine the doctor industry also basically, up to what level the doctor industries are basically. So one of the person told that this might be correct also. Possibilities are basically there, and this way one of the person told that the government basically have on here basically. Then few people basically told that ऐसा तो नहीं है कि the government are also basically created like that basically by the Rajashahi family. That is the king group basically. That might be possible basically. That king group basically might have created the government who are basically sitting in the parliament house. They taken from Pakistani few, they taken from Bangladesh few people, they basically taken few Indians also basically, because they can't do like that basically. They, without Indian basically they can't run the government. Then basically because Indian basically will not leave the country basically, these people basically can leave anytime basically. Then basically they taken few Americans, they taken few Saudi peoples, they taken few um, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, like this each and every people basically they have taken, and they created the government. That possibilities are also there, and the government basically in government basically the BCCI group kept their people also basically, because that is this everything basically a secret of the BCCI group basically, because the 1983 World Cup basically which was won basically, that person basically was the one secret person basically who created from one of the king family also basically, you can say, because families only creates the cities basically, they only have the money basically. Indian government basically don't have too much money basically, this family basically have too much money basically. So they only creates the money, they only gives the loans to the banks basically, World Bank basically, you can say. So one of the person told that I think the your job is not getting, it's connected up to this level also basically. One of the person told that that possibility is also basically there. So here one of the person told that, so see the chaining system basically, it might possible, this is also basic possibilities are there. So one of the person told that that possibilities are also there, that like this basically the 1 crore people basically, so possibilities are mixed, this whole possibility just now I told, 1 crore people dies, half people basically died, half shifted, like this basically entire shifted, entire died, entire shifted to from Bangladeshis to India, like this basically 1 crore taken the charge. And after the government told that basically now basically they are set, then next generation also basically has started, now basically you can apply the rule, that is CAA, whatever basically, I exactly don't know what is the full form. Like this basically they, after happening everything basically, everything is completed, they taken the comments also, they taken the feedback also of the particular each and every family, that 1 crore people basically, are you happy here, are you happy here, anybody has tracked you, you are doing the job of government, you are doing the job of police, you are doing the job of these people, you are doing the job of that people, companies give the comments, yes basically he is doing perfectly fine. So you can just imagine. So after that basically they applies the rules basically, that yes basically they all are happy basically. After feedback 1983 World Cup, then basically 2011 also basically India has won basically. So in that basically I don't know what are the things going to happen basically. That is basically the public is going to die basically. 1 crore Indian people has died basically. India basically love India. India love cricket. They only suffered basically. 1983 World Cup basically India won. 1 crore people basically died. 1 crore family basically ended. And still basically people are loving cricket basically. That is basically the public problem. That's not our problem basically. So one of the person told that like this basically the, now basically one of the person told that in 2011 basically what might have planned basically by the BCCI group basically. They might have planned something basically. Currently the war is also going between Europe and Russia group basically. So in this 1 crore people basically died. Russian group also basically might be involved, because it's a one chain basically. Whole world basically is run by one person, one group basically, and that is one chain basically. So in Russia also basically might be involved in this 1 crore people died. That possibility is also there. That possibility is also there. So one of the person told that that possibilities are there basically. Because you can't ignore a single possibilities. If you feel that basically this might create something basically, then you have to check basically. Like this basically the 1983 World Cup basically got success basically. 1 crore people basically died. And CAA also basically implemented basically. And public also basically are doing Jashan basically. You can just imagine basically. That means public basically know what basically. That is also another person basically. 1983 World Cup basically when they won, when the Indian basically won the World Cup, people basically has done the Jashan basically. But the real fact basically is what? 1 crore Indian people basically died, and Rohingya Muslims basically entered into India. Pakistanis entered into India. Like this basically 1 crore population basically has created. In India only basically. 20 lakh people basically are in Mumbai basically. And that also from BCCI, that is the European group basically. So you can't go against the European group basically. If you go, then basically you are sometime basically your back also basically gets blood basically. That type of people basically European group are basically. And in this basically Indian government also basically says that basically you have done correct thing basically. You have done correct thing basically. मराठी में बेसिकली इन मराठी बेसिकली तूने एकदम क्या बोलते हैं व्हाट टू से बेसिकली चोखा खेला है नहीं जी चोखा नहीं बेसिकली आई व्हाट टू से बेसिकली जस्ट मिनट आई विल जस्ट